All right, folks, I want y'all to walk with me on this one because this is a serious conversation we're about to have. Tonight, Mother Jones has published video from inside a police investigation involving Ohio Republican Congressman Max Miller. For weeks now, Miller has been adamantly denying allegations from his ex-wife, Emily, the daughter of Ohio Republican Senator Bernie Moreno, allegations that Miller was physically abusive to her and to their 2-year-old daughter. The video Mother Jones obtained and published today is body camera and interview footage from a child abuse investigation. They obtained the footage via public records request from the city of Bay Village, where the investigation took place. The footage shows detectives questioning Miller and his ex-wife, Emily Moreno, about their 2-year-old daughter's broken collarbone earlier this year. Watch this clip in which a child protective specialist describes the injury itself.
So the injury itself is common in ambulatory children, but there is a bruise that accompanies the injury that appears to be in a handprint, so it appears that it was inflicted. She was with Dad at the time that the injury was sustained.
In the video, you can hear Miller appear to downplay his daughter's injury.
If you look up, and I think we discussed this as well, a broken clavicle or collarbone in a toddler, very, very common. Actually extremely common. Anytime something's wrong with my daughter, I'm an abuser. And it's just like this thing that people want to paint about me for whatever reason.
Police ultimately concluded that a finding of child abuse was unsubstantiated, meaning there was no sufficient evidence to prove that abuse or neglect had occurred. And Congressman Miller has denied he hurt his daughter in any way, pointing to the fact that the police dropped the investigation as proof of his innocence. The video released by Mother Jones today also included multiple clips of Miller's ex-wife, Emily Moreno, making various serious allegations against Miller.
So nothing you can point to directly that you've seen him abuse your daughter?
No, but my daughter will say stuff.
Like?
Daddy angry. She always says Daddy's angry, or Daddy's house is scary. I was just scared of him a lot, and that's why I left the house. There was a few times when I would have to change the diaper and he'd have his gun on me.
Miller has adamantly denied it all, saying that his ex-wife suffers from mental health issues and made it all up. But yesterday, the House Ethics Committee announced that they are going to open an investigation into Representative Miller. But that investigation will likely take months. And according to Ohio state law, Republicans are facing a Monday deadline to replace Miller on the ticket. So where do things go from here? Joining me now is national politics reporter for Mother Jones, Abby Vasulis, who has done incredible reporting on this story, and host of the Bulwark podcast, Tim Miller. Welcome to you both. Abby, let's just get to the work and the reporting that you have done, which not just on this moment, you have done some extensive reporting on this story involving Mr. Miller and his family about all of these allegations and that have been made over the years. He has denied all of those allegations. Help us understand the bigger picture here. What can you tell us about those other allegations? Connect some dots for us if you can.
Yeah, so going through thousands of pages of court filings and police reports, dating back 10 plus years, but also many from very recent months, suggested that there is a pattern of allegations against Congressman Miller, that he has allegedly hurt not just one woman, Emily Moreno, his ex-wife, but possibly others. Stephanie Grisham, one of them, she wrote a book, and there was an explosive excerpt in the Post a couple years ago saying that she told the Trumps that she was abused by Miller and that they didn't do anything about it. So I, just going through this paper trail, saw many accusations of violence that Miller allegedly had done throughout the years, such as holding a gun to Emily Moreno's head and shoving her against a wall and throwing boiling water at her. And of course, Congressman Miller denies all of these claims, but it's striking to me that there are multiple different women who have, been affected by Miller. And the woman who I spoke to who was allegedly pushed down the stairs in high school, she told me it was one of the most traumatic nights of her life. And Politico reported a couple years ago that there were at least 3 witnesses to that event. So it's difficult for me to understand how so many different people could be lying
about similar incidents.
Right.
And Tim, that's the part that I find the most stunning, is just the knee-jerk reflexive response from Republican leadership, Trump, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, and this need to stand by the guy in the face of the allegation, to cast aspersions in some instances on the victims or the women who are involved in these things. And even now, you have Senator Moreno, the father of Mr. Moreno's his wife, coming out and saying, "Hey, this is not the thing. This is not what we should be doing, and you need to step down and stop this pursuit for office." What's your thought here? How do you think about this idea of just protecting these, reflexively protecting these individuals when these stories break?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, there are a lot of examples of this outside of politics and Me Too, et cetera. So this is not only on Trump, but
right.
A lot of this is Trump. Look, this does go back to 2016 and the Access Hollywood tape, where he's caught on tape bragging about sexually assaulting women, and a lot of Republican politicians speak out against him, and then he doesn't do anything, stays in the race. They all come back on board. He wins. They all end up being rewarded politically for it. And after that, it doesn't seem like there's been any appetite in the Republican Party for holding anyone accountable for any type of action, no matter how heinous, particularly regarding domestic violence or sexual assault against women. And so in this case, it's even kind of worse than not calling for him to step aside or not having a groundswell to push out. I mean, Trump last night on the tarmac said he feels bad for Max Miller. Like he said, I feel bad for him, which is a weird thing for Trump to say. Trump doesn't ever show empathy for anyone. And in this case, he's not showing empathy for Emily Moreno, a Republican senator's daughter, or for their daughter, Max Miller and Emily's daughter, who's, I guess, was allegedly also a victim of Max Miller's abuse. And, Trump's like, I feel bad for Max. And this is what the party is now. They're on the side of the abusers. And so if you're Max Miller, it seems like he's a sociopath. But in addition to that, it is rational to try to stay it out, because that's the model that has been put forth successfully within the Republican Party.
And yet, before we let you go, there is a timeline, there is a process that could come into play to replace Miller. Share some of that. So,
Congressman Max Miller would have needed to withdraw his candidacy today in order for there to be a special election to find a new Republican to replace him on the ballot. That didn't happen. So now we're looking towards Monday, August 10th, which is the next and final deadline, in which if he resigns before end of day, then the county Republican officials can appoint a Republican to take his place. And if not, then there's not going to be a Republican on the official ballots if Miller ends up resigning beyond the deadline.
Interesting. Abby Fasoulas, great work, good reporting. Tim Miller, buddy, it's so good to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight. Appreciate you.